So I want to ask you about coaching-wise. You know, I played with Pat Riley. You played with Pat. Okay, thank you. So let's talk about the difference between Pat and Phil, their mentality and their approach. I know how Pat was when Mike came to Miami that last year in 2011. He was like, man, he was intimidating. Because, you know, Pat sometimes will come walk right by you and be like, hey, Eddie, how you doing? Yes, let's have a good practice today. And then he'll walk right by me and not say one word. In the elevator, we going up 35 floors and don't say one word to me. So it's like, you don't know what Pat you gonna get. So what was it like when you played with Pat?
So the reason why I got traded, because the dictatorship couldn't work on me. Phil was more of a let you figure it out type guy. Keep in mind, when me and Kobe was going through a riff, you never heard Phil say anything. So I just heard B. Shaw say this in the podcast for the first time. Why don't you talk to Kobe like you talk to Shaq? And B. Shaw said that Phil said, we always got to keep Kobe in attack mode. So I just let him do whatever he wanted to do, which was fine. But he always just let us figure it out. I can remember in the Sacramento series, the Portland series, we'd be down and he'd call a timeout. He'd be like, I'm not bailing you guys out. Figure it out. So we'd have to figure out. Pat was more, do this, do that. Like when I first got there, he was like, oh, your body fat needs to be 11. I was like, I don't do that shit.
Every Monday?
Yeah. I'm
Bill
like,
Ferran?
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So he was you all know Pat is a stat guy. So one day he brought Alonzo Mourning and me and him in the office. He said, Alonzo, take your shirt off. And Alonzo was built like a He-Man doll.
Right.
He's like, I need you to look like this. And I was like, motherfuckers look good. But then I pulled out my piece of paper on his ass. I said, but let me tell you something to this. This is how much I average on Alonzo. 39, 17, and 4. I said, he got the six pack and all that. I like to eat burgers. He like to eat salad. But this is what I average on him. I'm not doing that. So he didn't like the fact that I would stand up to him. Because my thing is, you talk about all this stuff, but before I got to you, I was in the finals 4 out of 5 years, and you was never there. So which means I got the blueprint. I know what I got to do to get to the next level. But he wanted to do as well. I said, I'm not doing no body fat. I don't eat fucking salad. Cheeseburgers, that's what I ate. McDonald's. Because remember, I won as the skinny Shaq, the medium Shaq, and the fat Shaq. I won all 3. So I eat what I eat. So you know, he was more of a dictator. And you know, after we won our championship, then he really got his wings back, and he really started. And I was just, you know, one day Jason Williams came late. Like, remember he used to have that clock?
Yeah.
So Jason Williams came a half a second late, and he was like, hey man, you need to get out. I told Jason, we're not doing that, because you know, that's when he got rid of Antoine and all my guys, and I had a regular team, so we was losing like crazy. So he told J-Dub to get out, and I said, no, we're not getting out. He said, well, you get out. And I said, motherfucker, put me out. So we got into a little scuffle, and then the next day, I was traded.
Damn. You know what's funny about that? Yeah. That year, he called me that summer and wanted me to be on that team.
You should have came.
And I ended up going to Phoenix to play with D'Antoni, you know, because it was gonna be fun and stuff like that. But that's it's great. He told me, he was like, you're gonna regret this, Eddie. You know how he talks.
It was
that quick though. The next
day I got traded. I was like, damn.